What's up, guys? It's Monday. Actually, it's Sunday night for me, and I'm like super tired if you can't tell. But you're seeing this on Monday, so welcome to a new week. I am super excited to be releasing this first video, of course, minus the intro that I did. Anyway, my goal is to release a video once a week, each one falling on a different day with a different topic. I know it's like a little bit corny, but if I don't do that, I'm totally going to be like left field, straying off topic, talking about random stuff. So yeah, that's going to help me stay on task. So today's Monday, next week will be Tuesday, the next week will be Wednesday, so on. Hopefully you got that. I'm dedicating my Monday videos to mom / parent / relationship type topics. It's what I like to call Monday Mom Day. So, in all of these initial videos, this first week, I'm just going to share a little bit about my background, a little bit more about me, so that way you can get to know me better. Like I said, my intro video is just really going to help you understand why I'm talking about some of these topics that I'm talking about, where I'm coming from. I know I'm going to be met with some support. I also know I'm going to be met with some haters. So again, trying to let you in on a little bit about who I am so you know where I'm coming from. So, about me as a mom. Between the ages of 18 and 19, I had 3 miscarriages. I got pregnant with my son at 20 and had him at 21. I always wanted more kids when I was younger, but just wasn't in the cards for me. But my son actually wound up being like 4 kids all wrapped into one, so it kind of worked out. Plus, you know, life wasn't kind. We struggled a lot. It would have obviously been a whole lot worse had there been more children to have to manage through all of that struggle. So anyway, it worked out. Plus, I got to dedicate all my time to my son, and I will tell you what, he should be grateful. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, but seriously, it's hard when you have multiple children. So I'm glad that I got to spend the time that I did just with him. We are super close because of that, as well. So, even to this day, so I'm grateful that my 20-year-old still likes to spend time with me. So anyway, I've been homeless, a few times, before my son was born, and then again with my son. We spent some time in a homeless shelter, about 4 months. I was basically a single mother. My son's dad was around, but he was like back and forth. He'd come by. I mean, we didn't live together technically. He never did anything like, you know, parental. So pretty much anything and everything was on me. He at the time was playing house between me and this other girl, so he had a son with me, kids over there, and yeah, we'll definitely talk more about all that later. But moving on. My son had some behavioral issues growing up. As a toddler, mostly is when it started. So he could get pretty violent. He was always a lot bigger and stronger than the other kids in the daycare, and some of the teachers too. So, you know, he'd get into some sort of altercation, and then he'd get kicked out of daycare, and then I'd have to take time off work to find another place because I didn't have anybody to watch him, and then I wouldn't have the money for rent, and then I'd get evicted. And that happened like 4 times in a row before nobody would rent to me anymore. So that's how we ended up homeless that last time. Thankfully, my mom had let me stay there with him for a few months. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but she let us stay there for a little while until we got into a homeless shelter. We stayed over at UMOM in Phoenix. It's a great place, really. I'm super grateful for the services that they offered and things. I know they're expanding and doing a lot with women there. So if you have an opportunity to support UMOM, do that, please. But anyway, they got us into, after 4 months, they got us into an apartment, and they got my son into a daycare for children with behavioral issues. So they didn't kick out any children like the other daycares did, but that opened up like a whole another slew of issues, because now he was not only dealing with his own things, but he was exposed to all the issues that these other kids were going through. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. When my son was 4, I officially separated from his dad. He had become a severe alcoholic. Now there's a whole backstory to that, but I didn't want my son exposed to that and to the issues that came along with that, first and foremost. I didn't want him to have those memories of his dad, and he was still young, and so I felt that the best thing for me to do was just to separate him from his dad altogether. So he didn't see his dad for quite some time. We were separated for about 6 years, and then we ended up getting back together. He was clean, had been clean for a while. We got back together. We'll go into that whole history later, but I ended up having some medical issues, and was told some years later in life that it would pretty much be impossible for me to get pregnant again. The doctor actually tried to talk me into hysterectomy because, I'm not going to use it anyway, so that was fun. That caused me to fall into a pretty deep depression, even though I was past the age of actually wanting to intentionally get pregnant again. It's very different to be told that you can't do something versus making that decision yourself to say, I'm not going to. So it was on the table to, have a hysterectomy or have my tubes tied or whatever it may be. I had some other issues going on that they basically were like, well, we can solve these issues if we just, we just take it out. You're not going to use it, so let's just take it out. 2 birds, 1 stone, I guess. But I continued to suffer with the issues that I was going through because I just couldn't bring myself to say, this isn't going to happen. I basically was like, I believe pregnancy is like God's timing. That's just what I believe. And so I felt like obviously it wasn't his timing any of these years after my son's birth, because I never could get pregnant again. But I felt like if I were to have a hysterectomy, then I would be obviously canceling out any chance of me ever having a child, even though the doctor is saying that's not going to happen. And I'm fully believing that God is not going to bless me with another child. I'm just going to have the one. I couldn't make that step to be the one to say, all right, take it out. I'm never going to allow God to give me another child. Anyway. So again, fell into a pretty deep depression for quite a while, just dealing with that, because it was just such a blow to my motherhood. So on top of dealing with that emotional hit, I ended up with a bunch of other health issues, which I'll talk more about in my Wednesday episodes. But anyway, fast forward to March 2021, I find out I'm pregnant with, surprise, baby number 2 when I'm just about to turn 40. So here's what the doctors like to call a geriatric pregnancy, which sounds so much fun. And of course, aside from my age, I'm already high risk because I'm dealing with these other health issues. So I pretty much spent my entire pregnancy in fear that I would lose him or myself. Something was going to happen. Something was going to go wrong. It was a really scary, high stress time. But anyway, let me throw this out there. Do not, under any circumstances, watch that Kevin Hart movie, Fatherhood, while you are pregnant. Don't do it, because for whatever reason, I had a glimpse of what this movie was about, and I chose to watch it anyway. It's just the worst decision ever. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, so here I was, 40, right, with an 18-year-old, planning out my empty nester phase, And then God was like, oh, no, we're going to start over. So, you know, I guess apparently, like, God knew I wasn't going to be able to handle 2 children at the same time. So he's like, we'll just wait till the other one's fully grown and then let you start over. So here we are. So anyway, to sum it up, my perspectives on parenting will be coming from being a young parent, a single parent, a homeless parent, a married parent, a divorced parent, a step parent, a geriatric parent, and also from being the product of parents who were married, then divorced, as well as a father who was abusive, an alcoholic, and mentally ill, just to name a few. So while I by no means am an expert in parenting at all, I've definitely seen my fair share of circumstances, so I have a little bit of insight to share. Anyway, there's a lot more to come, you guys, trust me. We're going to be touching on a lot of different topics because I just feel like I have a whole lifetime worth of stuff to talk about and to share with you guys and to learn about and to, Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, I'd really like to get to know some of you guys, so if you have some time, drop a comment, let me know a little bit about yourself and who you are as a mom, or parent, or your experience with motherhood or children or any of that kind of stuff. Let's see what we have in common. Let's see how we can learn from each other. And until next week, have a great week, y'all.